This film is John Dean's eyewitness account of Watergate. Scenes in the Oval Office are drawn from verbatim transcripts of White House tapes.
Ceiling on meat prices was criticized in Congress as being too limited to stop inflation and almost certain to create new shortages. Judge Sirica, citing substantial developments in the Watergate case, is demanding additional grand jury testimony. An aide to President Nixon stated the president was willing to assist in the bugging inquiries and would let the Senate panel question White House staff members in private. There are now an estimated 8,500 Americans in South Vietnam. Fighting at 2 ranger camps has increased in the last 24 hours.
Up here.
Evening, John W. Dean III.
Charlie Shaffer, thanks for coming.
I couldn't refuse a clandestine meeting. Thank you. Where am I?
The friend's apartment. My place is surrounded by reporters and the White House is under siege.
Oh, sorry, it's so grim, John. I had no idea.
Do you want something to drink, some coffee or something to eat?
No, don't drink. Not hungry. My time is limited and expensive. And you're in trouble.
The worst, Charlie. The nightmare. I assume that everything I say from now on is protected by attorney-client privilege.
Well, I suggest you simply tell me what it is you intend to tell me. You know, I know you a little. You prepared for this meeting. You know what you're going to say. Say it.
Not that easy, Charlie.
No, it never is.
I guess I better start at the beginning. I was a 31-year-old lawyer with a good position at the Justice Department, great prospects, and a '68 Porsche. And then one day, my friend Bud Krogh asked me out of a clear blue sky, how would you like to go to work at the White House? And I said, why do you ask?
Well, the fact is, I want you to know I've recommended you for the White House staff.
Oh, thanks, Bud. I appreciate that. But you know, I really like it at the Justice Department. Krogh spoke to me on May 19th, 1970. For months after that, I kept telling myself that I didn't really care to go to work at the White House. Then one day, lo and behold, the call came that the President of the United States wanted to see me at the Western White House. I tried to act cool, but I rushed home, packed, grabbed a cab, rushed to the airport, and just made the plane, so I guess you could say from my behavior, I never wanted anything more in my whole life.
Yes. You're going to San Clemente?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any luggage?
Just what I brought on board.
Would you follow me, please?
Okay.
I'm Bob Haldeman.
Hi, Bob. John Dean. Glad to know you.
Come on in.
It's like a health spa around here.
Don't get the idea that all we do is lie around in the sun. How was the flight?
Oh, it's fun. I haven't been in a helicopter since I monitored an anti-war demonstration 2 years ago.
Well, the main thing is we got you here to explore your future. Ehrlichman has recommended that you succeed him as counsel to the president. But you wouldn't be working directly for Ehrlichman. You would be reporting to me. Of course, the president will make the final decision, but I believe that he will follow my recommendation. Do you think you can handle the job?
Well, Bob, I'm not really sure I know what the President's Council does.
Fair enough. Your office will be responsible for keeping the White House informed about anti-war demonstrations, domestic disorders, investigating possible conflicts of interest, handling matters relating to presidential clemency, and generally doing whatever it is you lawyers do for your clients. Can you do it?
I think so.
Mr. President, I'd like you to meet John Dean.
Good to see you, John. Please sit down.
Thank you.
John knows of our interest, Mr. President.
Well, Bob has told me about your career as a lawyer, and I'd like you to be my counsel. Would you like to be counsel to the president?
Yes, sir. It would be an honor, Mr. President.
Good. That's good. It's a great head start for you to have worked with John Mitchell. I often think back to the days we practiced law together in New York. Did you know about that?
Oh, yes, sir.
Mitchell is much more than the stocks and bonds lawyer the newspapers like to call him. We had some fascinating clients. I'm fortunate to have a young, efficient White House staff. They get the job done and done well, and Bob here is the man who sees that it's done. John, as a young lawyer in the White House, you could have an important role with the other young lawyers in government. You know, the guys who come to Washington to get a few years' experience. They're often ignored. You could organize them, get them together, and let them know what we're doing here at the White House. Make the poor guys feel involved. Then they'd know, and they'd carry the message back home.
I'll surely follow up on that suggestion, Mr. President. I'm very grateful to you for the opportunity you're giving me. I'll do my level best.
I know you will, John. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir. Morning.
Morning. Your name, sir?
John Dean. Oh, Jane.
Morning.
Morning. You're early.
It's 8 o'clock. Nobody told me what time to come in.
Yeah, me neither. Well, not much like the Justice Department, is it?
Not much.
Is it?
Closet.
What are you laughing at?
Well, if offices are barometers, you obviously have nowhere to go but up.
Well, don't worry. This is just temporary, you know.
Of course.
What's this here?
I don't know. I didn't know if I were permitted open.
I'll take care of it.
Do you want a cup of coffee?
Great.
I'll, see how to get it.
Okay. See if you can get me an ashtray while you're at it. Vice president. George, you've known the president for years. I need some help.
What's the problem, John?
I got an action memo from the president the other day concerning this magazine called Scanlon's Monthly. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
They've charged that Vice President Agnew was implicated in a plot to repeal the Bill of Rights and cancel the '72 elections. Well, I wrote the president that I thought we should ignore such nonsense. But an order came back for me to turn the IRS loose on these people.
Well, if the president wants you to turn the IRS loose, then you turn the IRS loose. It's that simple, John.
But it's illegal to use the IRS to attack a magazine simply because the president doesn't happen to like it.
Not so. The president is head of the executive branch. If he wants to use his tax collectors to check into the affairs of anyone, that's his prerogative. Do you think for a moment that other presidents, Lyndon Johnson, for instance, were above using the IRS to harass people? No, sir. It's the way the game is played.
It just isn't necessary, George.
If Richard Nixon thinks it's necessary, then you'd better think it's necessary. Or he'll find somebody who does.
I'm John J. Caulfield. Call me Jack. I thought I should drop in and say hello.
Oh, I'm glad you did. It's all right, Jane.
Did Haldeman tell you that I'm working for you now?
Yes, he did, but, frankly, he didn't say why.
Listen, I'm a cop by trade. 16 years NYPD. From street beat to detective. I was Nixon's personal bodyguard in 1968. When you need the kind of work I do, just ask.
What kind of work is that?
Technically, my title is White House liaison with the Secret Service and the local police.
Technically?
Yeah. My main assignment was to look into what happened to Ted Kennedy at Chappaquiddick.
I see. For Haldeman?
No, Ehrlich. Within 6 hours after the accident on the bridge, my man Tony Yu.
Tony what?
Tony Yu.
Who's that?
I don't break his cover. He was on the scene, casing it for me. He passed himself off as a reporter. Should have heard the questions he asked at the news conferences. Anyway, you got a problem.
What's that?
They give you lousy space in the parking lot, no class. I'll get you a new spot right next to Colson's.
All right, fine. I'd appreciate that.
Anything else I can do for you?
There might be. How would you handle this assignment?
They want an IRS check on this lousy magazine scandal?
That's right.
No problem. I'll take care of it. When do you need an answer?
As soon as possible.
See you tomorrow.
Hello. Can I speak to Maureen Viner, please?
This is Maureen.
Hi. My name is John Dean. Bob Stevens gave me your number.
Oh?
He says of all the single girls he knows, you're at the top of the list.
What else is new?
Listen, I know it's late, but I was hoping you'd be free for supper tonight. It may sound odd, but I just canceled another date, on a hunch, I guess. I really felt I should meet you.
That's funny. I just called off a date, too.
Really? Then you don't have any plans for tonight?
Well, no, not really.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you Maureen?
Yep. You must be John.
Yep.
Please, come on in.
Thank you.
Would you like a drink? I'm afraid I can only offer you vodka.
That's great.
I'm out of mix.
You have any ice?
You got it. After you called, I tried to call you back. I I didn't know where to reach you.
You mean you changed your mind?
Yes?
Thank you. Why?
Oh, I had a rotten day.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you couldn't reach me. What do you do? I mean, do you work?
I'm an insurance broker.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it?
I'm very good at it.
Kind of technical, though, isn't it?
Well, in insurance, there's a chart for everything. What do you do?
Actually, I work at the White House.
Really?
I'm the counsel to the president.
What are you doing here?
I'm looking into some land that might be appropriate for the Nixon Library someday. And they made a big deal out of me driving around in a Porsche instead of a nice conservative limo like everyone else. I said, to hell with it. I drive a Porsche, and that's that. I discovered one thing in my favor, though. Haldeman and I use the same tailor. I love your hair. Do you always wear it like that?
Sometimes it comes down.
Your eyes, always that wide open.
Except when I get angry.
What makes you angry?
Liars. Cheaters. People who are mean. And dirt. I hate dirt. I wash and I bathe and I shower compulsively. I suppose that means something very significant psychologically.
Yes, it certainly does. It means that you're very, very clean. I was married for a while. It's all over now, but we have a little boy.
Really?
Yeah. I see him as often as I can.
I was married briefly. Michael. He was killed in an auto accident 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Been alone since. Except for my mother and my brother, they live nearby.
I've been dating a lot, you know, but nothing close.
Would you like some more coffee?
Please?
Coffee?
No.
No?
No.
Doesn't make any sense.
Growing by leaps and bounds. I'm assigning Tom Houston to your office.
I don't even know Tom Houston.
He's developed a plan to improve our intelligence handling capabilities. Our way of handling the anti-war people, the radicals and all that. The plan's been approved by the Central Intelligence Agency, the National Security Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and the military. Fortunately, Houston has offended our friend J. Edgar Hoover, who's blocking it. I want you to get the Houston plan implemented.
I guess I better see the plan.
I guess you better see Tom Houston.
We have to deal with the revolutionaries, the anarchists who are out to destroy this nation. We have to make up our minds once and for all and stop horsing around.
I hear you, but you yourself wrote right here on the very first page. Portions of this plan are illegal, and there are serious risks involved. Now, you're advocating the opening of private mail, CIA-assisted infiltration of college campus groups, surreptitious entry, overseas surveillance of American citizens.
The only risk is if we get caught.
But even J. Edgar Hoover doesn't think the possible advantages are worth the risks.
The president himself, personally, accepted this plan weeks ago. Now, I don't understand why the president's order should be blocked just because Hoover wants to ride out of the FBI on a white horse. There's nothing new in that plan. Hoover and the FBI did it all years ago when he was younger and stronger. Anyway, I know I don't have to convince you. I mean, Haldeman instructed you to get the plan implemented. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's right.
I know, John. I'm aware of the situation. Of course, the president loves all that stuff. But it isn't necessary. Houston plan is just too dangerous.
I couldn't be more relieved to hear you say that, Mr. Mitchell. Well, what are we going to do about it?
Kill it
How?
diplomatically. We will suggest the establishment of a new committee to bring together all the intelligence agencies to exchange information and to study mutual problems. You will write a memo to Haldeman suggesting the new committee as a method to get Hoover back on the Houston plan team. I will privately assure Hoover, in fact, that the committee is a sup to the White House and that the Houston plan is dead. Might just work.
Oh, yes. I'm very happy to hear that, sir. Yes, sir. Apparently, the new committee is going to satisfy everyone, except Tom Houston, of course. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good news, John?
Oh, yes. State secret. High-level chicanery. You see, Fred, there are people at the White House, and there are John Mitchell's people at the Justice Department, and they're always at each other's throats, maneuvering for position with the president. And then there's me. Now, I've got good relations with both sides, so that puts us in a unique position. I want you to consider yourself a partner in the White House law firm.
With the President of the United States as our principal client.
That's right.
Have you had much contact with him?
No, but it'll come. We've got to convince him we're the best damn law firm in town. And to do that, we've got to convince a lot of other people, too. People like Ehrlichman, Haldeman, and Colson.
I'm afraid we don't have much flash.
Well, don't worry, that'll come. Fred, we're going to pamper all of our clients. When we get a question, we're going to research the hell out of it and fire back an answer, the right answer. We're going to fire it back fast.
Haldeman here. The Presidential Fact-Finding Committee just returned from Vietnam with 2 captured Chinese rifles for the President. Can the Treasury Department disallow the gift because they're illegally imported?
Magruder here. John, I want to mail a solicitation to a list of Nixon contributors around the country. Can we do that at government expense?
Chuck Colson here, John. Now look here. We're damn interested in that project I wrote to you about. And I feel sure if you do a thorough job looking into the military records of the anti-war Vietnam veterans, you're going to find some rotted apples.
This is John Ehrlichman. Does the General Auditing Office have the right to audit the White House budget?
There's this 2-bit corporation marketing a replica of the presidential seal, and the president wants it stopped.
John Dean's office. Yes. Just a moment, please.
I said, look, ladies.
John.
Either you ride down to the
John.
station...
The president's on the telephone for you.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's really him.
Never called me before. Which line?
3.
Of course. Yes, Mr. President.
John, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
I have some questions on the presidential succession, John. Are you familiar with that amendment?
Yes, sir, I am. In a general sort of way.
Well, the reason I'm asking, one of my daughters was in here today, and she's doing a paper on this. If the vice presidency became vacant, would I have the power to appoint his replacement? Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir, it is.
Well, then I wonder what would be considered a disability in the vice president that might force his removal?
Well, sir, there is some language in the amendment on that, but it'd be best if I check the legislative history.
Well, will you get right back to me?
Yes, sir, I will.
And John, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just some information he wants for one of his daughters.
John, boy, that's what he always says.
A man who had made certain promises. I am trying to keep those promises. I need help to keep them. It is time for the great silent majority just to stand up and become. So, my friend,
majority spoke loud and clear. We lost 9 seats in the House, and 11 Republican states went Democratic.
I remember.
Haldeman immediately sent down orders to prepare for the next election. And the message was clear. We were all to become cogs in the machine that would re-elect Richard Nixon. That machine went out of control, Charlie. Now it's rolling over me.
Oh, come on.
Honestly, I never thought of myself as being pretty. Even as a girl, I always thought I was ordinary.
That's an outrageous lie.
I never lie. Even my dreams aren't very special. Just average Los Angeles dreams.
Tell me about it.
Oh, I wished my folks would have gotten along better. But they didn't. Dad left home when I was in my teens.
Oh, that's rough.
No, we stayed close. My mother's a darling. She was a Ziegfeld girl.
You're kidding.
No.
Really?
What about your dreams?
Very sexy.
No. I want to know everything about you. What did you want to do? Where'd you go to school?
That's all very boring.
Tell me.
You really want to know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. My folks sent me to Stanton Military Academy in Virginia. From there, I went to Colgate and American University and Worcester College in Ohio. I'm from Ohio, you know. Then I went to Georgetown Law, and maybe a few others I've forgotten along the way.
And everywhere brilliant, I bet.
Oh, no. I was hardly that. I goofed around and got married too young and wasted a lot of time. I didn't really find myself till I started working in the government. Now sometimes I'm almost frightened.
Why?
Well, it may sound ridiculous and egotistical, but sometimes I feel there's no limit to how far I can go.
I don't think that's ridiculous.
Or egotistical.
No.
What is it?
It's honest. Now tell me where you live.
I've got a townhouse on Princess Street.
Really? That's in Alexandria, just across the Potomac from Washington.
You know the area?
Yeah. My friend Carol Thompson lives there.
Oh.
She's invited me to come stay with her.
When?
Soon.
Will you?
Do you want me to?
Uh-huh.
Are you asking me to?
I guess I am.
This is for Haldeman. It would seem the time is approaching when Larry O'Brien is held accountable for his retainer with Howard Hughes. Beebe has some information on this, although, of course, it's not solid. But there's no question that one of the Hughes people had O'Brien on a very heavy retainer for services performed in the past.
Larry O'Brien was the chairman of the Democratic National Committee.
Yeah.
And you say that Nixon gave that order nearly a year before the election?
That's right.
How do you know?
I saw the memo.
Under what circumstance?
Haldeman gave it to me.
For your information.
Oh, no, Charlie, for me to act on.
Larry Higby here. What's the matter, John? Can't you meet a deadline? You think you're somebody special?
No, Larry. But you know, this Hughes thing is really very complicated. As you can imagine, it should be handled with kid gloves. I'm afraid I need more time.
Haldeman thinks your time is about up.
It's a very complex $2 billion empire, but the emperor, Howard Hughes, hasn't been seen in public for 14 years. He's more secret than the CIA with a platoon of private eyes and the mafia standing in the wings.
Right. What about Larry O'Brien?
Well, as you probably know, there's been a war recently within the Hughes organization. The winners wouldn't mind scalping O'Brien, but they're not going to do anything substantial for us.
Why not?
Because if we embarrass O'Brien, he can retaliate with his own inside information on the Hughes organization.
So what?
Republican skeletons will come dancing out of the closet, too.
Such as?
Do you think we should remind the public that Howard Hughes loaned Nixon's brother Donald $200,000 in 1956?
I understand.
I suggest we leave those closet doors locked tight, at least for the time being.
Right.
I mean, I thought he was gonna call.
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
Did you meet him? Did you talk to him? Isn't he terrific, Carol? What the hell is he?
No. All right, now.
It's really very nice, John.
Nice. Supposed to be impressive, austere, laden with power, but not nice.
Okay, it's swell.
Swell.
If you'll excuse me, I had some calls to make.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to meet you. I like your desk.
It was in the Oval Office until, for some reason, the president decided he didn't want it anymore.
How did you get it?
Jane got it for me. She's an absolute genius at scrounging. That bookcase was built for Henry Kissinger.
You're kidding.
In this office, we don't kid. And for some reason, Henry decided it was too big or too small or whatever, so Jane got it for me.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, and this is the Teddy Roosevelt fireplace.
Terrific. It's just absolutely fantastic. Nixon's desk, Kissinger's bookcase.
And me.
Where'd Jane find you?
It is literally May Day here in Washington as tens of thousands of chanting anti-war demonstrators have converged to shut down the nation's capital, blocking access to bridges, government buildings, and traffic intersections. Law enforcement officials vowing to keep the Capitol open are arresting the demonstrators by the hundreds.
13996. Yes, sir. Fine, I'll have that information passed on right away. Thank you. Bye-bye.
John, Secret Service reports some difficulty in keeping the 14th Street Bridge open. That's the dispatch.
All right, have that passed on and include this in the 0100 report, which, by the way, I have to phone in the Hall in 10 minutes.
Don't worry, we'll
Dean.
have it.
Right. No, I hadn't heard that. Well, sure, it looks bad. The only counter is to keep repeating that the president will not permit the Capitol to be shut down.
Caulfield?
All right, give it to me.
What's going on? Why aren't we getting anything solid from Northwest?
Mr. Coulson, can I wait? I'm on the phone.
Let me have the report.
See if you can get rid of him.
That's a tall order. It's a
Tells me
royal
nothing about the
pain.
Northwest. If you don't know what's going on around here, then who does? This is supposed to be the command center, isn't it?
What's the problem, Chuck?
The problem's the whole Northwest sector.
It's covered.
Not so, I can see from the damn reports.
We've already arrested 1,500 demonstrators there.
I'm not crying for them.
Look, I got an idea for you, Chuck.
What?
Now, why don't you send oranges anonymously to the demonstrators in jail?
Oranges?
Yeah, you know, that's Muskie's trademark. Sending oranges. Now, the press will pick it up, and they'll think that Muskie is sending gifts to radicals.
That's not a bad idea, Fred. Not bad.
Yeah, that's right. You know the location and the targets of all the groups except one unit from the Gay Liberation Movement. Hang on a second. Can I get back to you? Fine, thank you. Hold it down, everyone. Yes, Mr. President. Well, thank you very much, sir. That's very kind of you to say so.
I approve the action of the police and what they did. This government is going to go forward, and that kind of activity, which is not demonstration, but vandalism, law-breaking, it's not going to be tolerated in this capital.
Over 13,000 demonstrators were arrested that day, John.
Yeah, I know.
And all of those arrests were illegal.
So the court's ruled.
You're a lawyer, John.
Look, the president was not going to allow the Capitol to be shut down. He felt the demonstrations were having an adverse effect on his conduct of the war, and the D.C. police got the message.
Neatly put, Consul. You supported the war.
I supported the president. I'll tell you something ironic, though. Years before I ever went to work in government, I marched in an anti-war demonstration myself. I often wondered if that fact was in my FBI dossier. Then when I went to work at the White House, I had it checked out. And for some reason, the FBI had missed me.
John?
Up here.
There you are.
Hi.
Missed you.
Missed you, too. Where you been?
Oh, I went over to Carol's to pick up my mail.
Anything interesting?
Note from Mother with love to you. The other odds and ends.
Why not have your mail sent directly here?
I can't.
Why not?
How would it look?
Natural.
What's natural for you is not so natural where I come from.
Says who?
Me. I'm just not comfortable with it, John. I mean, it's been 6 weeks of pretending to live with Carol and actually being here.
I agree. So let's drop the pretense.
I am not a bed hopper, and I don't want to be thought of that way, not by anyone.
You're not bed hopping, Mo. You're with me.
I expected a proposal by now.
Oh, come on, Mo. I thought we agreed that we'd test our feelings, you know, and then try and get comfortable and then make a mature judgment.
You agreed. You agreed with yourself. I never agreed.
Did I?
Yes, you did, and quit laughing about it.
I'm sorry, baby. It's just that we're both one-time losers, huh?
I just get so scared.
Of what?
I don't want to lose you.
You're not gonna lose me, baby.
But you don't make promises. You don't commit yourself.
I know.
John. I'm not just a one-time loser.
What do you mean?
When I was younger, there was another man, an older man. He loved me. And he seemed able to care for me. So I married him. But, then you see, I found out he was already married. So, I had to annul that marriage. Michael, he was my friend. He was my age, and he married me. And I was killed like I told you. So, I was alone. And I shut myself off. And then you came along. And I was afraid to tell you. What's gonna happen now?
You're gonna stay here with me.
I am?
Yes, you am. And you're gonna finish decorating this place. And you're gonna start your new job.
It's a terrible job.
It's the way you get started in Washington. something better will come up, I'll see to it.
Be together?
Yes. I have to tell you something.
What?
Told you I was divorced. That's not quite true. We've been separated for a long time, but the divorce has never been finalized. I never felt as close to anyone as I do to you. You know, not in my whole life.
Who is this traitorous, villainous, unstable insect of a man named Daniel Ellsberg? How does he dare to take the most secret documents in this government's archives, the history of our involvement in Vietnam, and release them to key newspapers throughout the country? Why isn't Ellsberg in jail, John?
It's called the First Amendment, as you well know, George.
The president can't end the war, negotiate with the Soviets, the Chinese, and win an election with the government leaking secrets from every pore.
John Mitchell has filed for an injunction to prevent any further publications. I don't know what else we can do.
The president is going to insist on a way to plug these leaks. And I'll go further than that. He's going to want a decent system of campaign intelligence. He's going to want to know every move that those people make. The president needs all of the loyalty and support he can get.
You know, it's your fault we're going to be an hour late.
So we'll be fashionable. How was your day?
Oh, my day. Today, I know I'm not qualified for the job.
You've been doing just fine, huh?
Could you button this, please? Yeah, as a glorified clerk. But who am I to organize a National Commission on Marijuana Drug Abuse? I don't know what to do.
You just do it.
Where do I start?
Office space and furniture.
Where do I get office space and furniture?
GSA.
What is the GSA?
General Services Administration.
Oh, okay. What's the DOE, and the OEW, and the OEO?
I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, what good are all these acronyms if you don't even know what it is you're acronyms?
What did you do when you were in over your head in the insurance business?
Well, I studied my books and batted my eyelashes.
Well, that's the same thing here. Look, I got your boss's job, and all the members of the commission were appointed on my say-so. I'm the resident drug expert from my days in the Justice Department. You got plenty of clout, and you'll pick up whatever else you need.
I'm anxious to do a good job. $10,000 a year isn't exactly chopped liver.
Neither are you, kid.
Oh, damn it to hell, John, you gotta help me. Guy Carlson is crazy. He wants me to firebomb a damn building. I can't do it. I can't firebomb a building.
All right, relax. Tell me the whole story from the beginning.
They've been crazy over there ever since Ellsberg leaked the Pentagon papers.
Naturally.
So Carlson has been pestering me for weeks about the Brookings Institute. He's got the Brookings Institute on the brain. This guy Halpern works there. And Carlson thinks that Halpern has documents that could bring the Pentagon papers into the Nixon administration. They're climbing the walls, especially Kissinger.
So they asked you to get the Halpern papers?
Listen, I wouldn't touch the assignment until Carlson promised me that Ehrlichman said it was okay. And I sent my man Tony Yu over to Case Brookings. You know the place? Big gray building?
Yeah, sure.
Tony's a pro. He bribed the guard, found out that the Halpern papers are in a great big vault upstairs. The security on the vault is perfect. Guards and alarms, the whole schmear.
I assume you told that to Colson.
Right. I told him the thing is impossible. I expected him to say, okay, forget it. But he didn't. He said, I don't want to hear any excuses. You can start a fire if you have to. That'll take care of the alarms. You can go in after the firemen. I'm going to think of everything for you. This is your business. I can't go out starting fires. It's not just illegal. It's crazy.
So why didn't you tell that to Colson?
He won't listen. He insists he gave me an order.
He's a special counsel to the president. I can't just say no, thank you.
Jane, see if you can get me on the next flight to San Clemente, please.
Right away.
You gotta get me out of this.
I want you to move a muscle until you hear from me.
I can do that.
Whatever you do, don't talk to Chuck Colson.
Well, look, John, there is a courier flight leaving for San Clemente in an hour.
They're sending a courier flight for me?
No, it's for Robert Mardia.
You played them close, John.
I try.
May I ask why you're, catapulting yourself across the country?
Sorry, Bob. It's a very sensitive matter I have to take up with Ehrlichman. And you?
Sorry, John. I've been called in on a security problem by the president. Gin.
It's an outright break-in under circumstances where, you know, Caulfield and his people could easily be detected. And if that occurs, John, I am implicated, you're implicated, and of course the White House is implicated. And even if they did get any of those papers, the chances are that Halpern and Ellsberg have other copies that they can simply release to the press. And finally, we're talking about criminal liability. We're talking about arson and burglary. And, sir, we're talking about conspiracy here.
Yep, okay. I'll take care of it. Chuck Colson, please. Chuck, John, that Brookings thing, we don't want it anymore. I'm telling Dean to turn Caulfield off.
You know, the re-election has top priority at the White House now, and campaign intelligence is a cornerstone of Haldeman's thinking. I believe it's our opportunity, Fred. We can enlarge the staff and play the same role at the convention that we played at the May Day demonstrations.
Sounds great.
I'm going to prepare a prospectus for Haldeman, urging him to put us in charge of all the campaign intelligence that could be of any use to the president during the entire campaign. We could beef it up by receiving and digesting information from all the other offices. Information on drug and crime problems, on
It's a
political...
good idea, John, but Strawn's already collecting data. Anyway, I'm not so worried about organizing information as getting it in the first place. Jack Caulfield's arranging his plan. What does he call it?
Sandwich.
What?
Sandwich.
Right. I don't have a lot of faith in Jack, but let's see what he comes up with.
Well, I'll tell you, when Haldeman shoots you down, he sure does it with style. He just raised an eyebrow, and I knew we didn't have a prayer.
Yeah, we'll wait till next year.
It all goes back to Ehrlichman putting me down as a weakling because I blew the whistle on firebombing the Brookings Institute.
No, I doubt that.
I don't doubt it. Mitchell warned me that Ehrlichman would never take his foot off my shoulder, and he was right. I happen to know who's handling political intelligence for all of them.
Who?
Gordon Strawn.
Gordon Strawn?
And that's not the only intelligence outfit they got going. The White House has set up Bud Krogh with some kind of operation.
I want to work with you on what we're calling the declassification programs. Now, logically, I suppose some of our operations should have been yours.
No,
but...
that's all right, but I've got no great stake in intelligence. Be glad to help you any way I can.
Thanks. I don't understand it, but there are some people who seem to think there's some little old lady in you, John.
I know, Bud. Say, Bud, I just heard this incredible story. Is it true that some of your people broke into the office of Daniel Ellsberg, psychiatrist?
Yes. I'm afraid they got a little carried away.
I won't be gone for more than 2 weeks, Mom.
What's your itinerary?
I've got appointments in Rome and London, maybe Paris.
Officially?
No. Fact is, I need a vacation. I talked to Haldeman, and he said it was all right.
And he instructed you to go alone.
You got your job here.
I can get away.
No, I need some time alone.
I think you're just reacting to Bud Krogg's assignment.
No. Not the plumber's unit. Not dealing in that crud, no. But But I do believe the White House political intelligence should come through my office like it did through Ehrlichman's when he had my job. I'm just a glorified detail man. Ehrlichman's still really the president's counsel. Just a staff lawyer. I'm thinking of leaving the White House.
To do what?
Now, you know, I've made some contacts. I have some job offers from private law firms, jobs that involve substantial amounts of travel, a lot more money.
No. Wait just a minute. What the hell does that have to do with you not taking me to Europe?
There's nothing for you to do there.
Nothing for me to do there. In all of Europe, there is nothing for me to do there. I love you. That is why I'm here. Because I want to be with you, to share everything with you everywhere. Doesn't that mean anything to you?
No, I just need some time alone, like I told you, hon.
Time? Time to quit a terrific job? Time to finalize your divorce? Time to get used to the idea of marrying again? Bastard!
Good morning, John.
Bonjour.
It's a wonderful, wonderful day.
You are beautiful.
And you look very, very lazy. Aren't you never getting up? How did your meeting go last night?
Très bien.
Oh, that's good. My friends convinced you that the business of the world is business?
Almost.
It would be so pleasant if you were to become a very important capitalist and spend 6 months a year working in Paris.
6 months in Paris.
John, have I ever asked of you a favor?
No.
Will you do me one?
Maybe.
Well, somehow I can't picture you in the White House. I mean, all those men there, they look like, but they look uptight, you know?
They are.
Yeah. Tell me, John, as a favor. Is it possible that any of them appreciate women the way you do?
Well, in the strictest confidence, I can tell you there is one other.
Really? Which one?
Guess.
Haldeman?
Oh,
Ehrlichman?
no.
Coulson?
No.
Oh, I know. Nixon. Nixon himself.
No, I'll tell you.
No.
Yes. Now I have this very lucrative business opportunity, and frankly, Bob, I feel I've contributed as much as I can here, so I'd like to submit my resignation.
That's all very nice. But you know, you wouldn't have all these job offers if we hadn't brought you here.
Well, yeah, that's true.
The same job offers will be coming in after the election, probably better offers.
I question whether I'm still really serving any purpose here.
You've had over a year of getting your feet wet. Now we can use your expertise. The entire staff will be working on the president's re-election, including you. John, you owe it to the president to stay on at least through the election. You're going to be very busy.
Just don't have enough confidence in Caulfield and his sand hog.
Sand wedge.
Yeah. Look, Fred Fielding would be ideal. He not only has the experience of having worked for you, he also has a history in Army intelligence.
I'm afraid that's impossible. I need Fred.
Oh, yeah. Any other notions?
I'll work on it.
I'll count on that.
Mitchell needs a general counsel for the re-election committee.
I can't give him David Young.
Why not?
I need him for the plumbers.
All right, who then?
How about Gordon Liddy?
I don't really know him.
Hell of a lawyer. The president himself has commented on his work.
Well, Mitchell needs someone who can take care of more than just the demonstrations or the convention. He needs someone who can handle political stuff and intelligence.
Gordon's a former FBI man. He's pulled off some very sensitive chores for me.
Sounds like you're really selling him.
That's how I brought you in.
That's right, Mr. Mitchell. G. Gordon Liddy. I don't know what the G stands for. Yes, sir, I definitely think you should meet with him. I've interviewed him, and I think he's our man.
Mr. Liddy. He's expecting you. that he's here.
Thank you.
Gordon, good to see you. Sit down.
Sorry to bust in on you, John.
Not at all.
The fact is, I need some help.
Well, I hope you've come to the right place.
Jeb Stewart Magruder, my nominal superior, is an idiot. He's going around introducing me as his man in charge of dirty tricks.
You're kidding.
Control him, John. That innocent amateur is going to blow my cover.
Amateur, yes. Innocent, no. I'll talk to him, Gordon. Anything else?
Well, I've been analyzing the intelligence requirements for the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Big operation.
Oh, I know.
What kind of budget do you think I should present to Mr. Mitchell?
I don't know, Gordon. Caulfield was talking about $500,000 for Sandwich. I guess you can go that high, maybe higher if you could justify it.
I appreciate your candor, John.
What happened to your hand?
Oh, nothing really.
I look serious.
Well, some might feel that way. I don't. It was necessary, you see, that I prove my strength to the men that I'm recruiting to assist me at the convention.
What do you mean, prove your strength?
Well, in my business, it's important that the men I work with understand that I'm a man of strength. What my Cubans call macho. So to prove myself to them, I held my hand over a flame till the flesh burned. I did that without wincing. I wanted them to know that I can stand any amount of physical pain. So long, John.
So long, Gordon.
And thank you.
Not at all.
Thank you.
Jane? Jane, are you there?
Yes, John.
Yeah, would you get me Jeb Magruder, please? And stay away from Gordon Liddy.
Gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity to present my proposals for the 1972 presidential campaign. The first component, Operation Diamond, deals with campaign intelligence and hostile convention demonstrations. It involves intelligence liaison with the FBI, Secret Service, and the CIA. We will also gather our own information by infiltrating anti-war groups with paid informants. Now, this component will also be equipped with an operational arm. You see, we need greater loyalty than the local police and federal security forces possess to enable us to break up demonstrations before they reach the television cameras. Now, I will arrange for the services of highly trained demonstration squads, men who have had experience as street fighting teams for the CIA. They are well disciplined, trained, and carry their own cover. We will have a second operational arm of teams experienced in surgical relocation activities. So, they can kidnap a leader without compromising us. If, for instance, a prominent radical comes to our convention to muster his army of demonstrators, we can drug him, take him across the border into Mexico until the convention is over.
What the hell good is that going to do?
Well, sir, by removing their leadership, we throw them into confusion.
Maybe.
Shall I continue, Mr. Mitchell?
Please.
You will recall that we now have an informant inside the Muskie organization. Code name, Sedan Chair. Enlarging this operation of infiltrations, Operation Ruby will depend upon the target selected. Larry O'Brien, Senator Jackson, Senator Humphrey, Senator Muskie, or anyone else. The Democratic Convention in Miami may be a target. Now, I have conducted a preliminary study of the hotels and the convention hall. I have secured an option to lease a pleasure craft that's docked on the canal. It's over 90 feet long
has several staterooms, expensively decorated, and it can be wired for sight and sound. Now, I know that many prominent Democratic officials are vulnerable to weaknesses of the flesh. We can compromise these officials through the charms of some ladies that I have arranged to have living on board. This will enable us to extract the kind of information we want.
Just a minute, Gordon. How are a bunch of whores going to compromise these guys at the convention? They're not that dumb.
These are not stupid broads. These women can be trained and programmed. These are the finest call girls in the country. And I can tell you, from first-hand experience...
I'm sorry.
Operation Sapphire contemplates operations from harassment to false demonstrations to defeat and sabotage the campaigns of our opponents. As for the Democratic Convention itself, architectural studies reveal that we can cut down on the air conditioning system in that hall. Imagine all those Democratic delegates sitting there, sweating in 100-degree heat on national television. So this type of operation is expensive, but I have carefully checked and rechecked the budget, and all of this can be done for $1 million.
Oh, Gordon, that's all very intriguing. But not quite what I had in mind. I was more concerned about demonstrators and police cooperation than some of the things you mentioned.
I understand, sir.
And we can't afford that kind of money. I suggest you go back to your drawing board and see what you can do.
Yes, sir.
Unreal and a little frightening.
I'd say that was a fair statement.
Bonsoir, John.
Bonsoir, madame.
Comment ça va?
Bien, merci à tu.
Oh, ça va très bien, mon chéri.
Bon.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Tout à l'heure.
Bon.
Oh, hello.
Who's she?
Who?
You know very well who.
Don't be ridiculous.
This is grotesque. Aren't you going to renew your acquaintance? Aren't you going to have a drink with her? I know. Ask her over. We'll have a party together.
That's enough, Mo.
Come on then, John. Just looking over Gordon's adjusted budget.
I was just explaining that we can be quite effective in the entire surveillance area, but not without the proper equipment. Notice
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I really don't think this sort of thing should be discussed in the Attorney General's office.
I think you're right, John. I quite agree.
Gordon! Listen, in the future, if you have anything to say on such matters, I want you to talk to Magruder, not to Mr. Mitchell.
I understand what you mean. From now on, I'll communicate in that fashion.
Gordon? I don't think we should discuss this subject ever again.
Of course. I'll be careful.
I reported the Liddy scheme to Haldeman and told him I didn't want any part of it. So I stopped short. I wasn't a criminal yet.
That's for me to say. What was the next move?
Let's see. Mitchell resigned as Attorney General and took over as chairman of the committee to re-elect.
And you?
Well, Mr. Nixon did invite me to go to China with him.
So?
So I took my own little trip to Tokyo, Saigon, Bangkok, New Delhi, Athens, and Paris.
Why?
My cover story was that I was looking into the drug traffic situation.
And the truth?
I love to travel.
Some breakfast out.
Merci beaucoup.
Hello? Yes? Just a minute. It's for you, it's overseas. Who knows we're here, John?
Probably all your friends in Washington. Hello. Speaking. Yes, I'm here for Mr. Haldeman. Hello, Bob. I'm fine, thank you. How's yourself? No, I haven't seen the papers this morning. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yeah. Who? Yeah, I got it. Right. Right. Got it. Yeah, all right, I get the picture. The next plane. I say, I'll be on the next plane. Goodbye.
Something serious to enjoy with breakfast, John?
Yeah, if you enjoy political scandal.
Of course. Can you tell me about it?
Oh. It's probably in every newspaper in the world by now. You know the columnist, Jack Anderson?
Attractive man.
Well, he has charged that the government settled antitrust suits against International Telephone and Telegraph in exchange for a $400,000 gift to the Republican National Convention.
Ooh, bribe. How lovely. How does he know?
Well, he dug up a memo. It was supposedly written by this IT&T lobbyist named Dita Beard.
I've never heard of her.
Neither have I.
Findings. Did you agree to settle the ITT antitrust suit in exchange for a $400,000 contribution to the president's campaign?
Absolutely not. I will tell the Senate committee under oath that I knew nothing whatsoever of any such alleged arrangements, and that I have never received any instructions from the White House on handling any antitrust suit.
So you do expect to be confirmed?
I look forward to the difficult job of taking John Mitchell's place, yes.
Night. Night.
Not one card. Not a letter. Not a telephone call. Nothing. It's as if I don't even exist for you. Someday I ought to just pack off for Europe and let you cool your heels for a couple of weeks. Let you wonder, where's Mo? What's Mo doing? Who's Mo with?
Serve me right.
Yeah, it would.
Teach me to appreciate what I've got.
That's right. Anyway, he says you've got me.
Kennedy, it's a damn fool to reopen the hearings. We wouldn't be in this mess if it weren't for him.
We're in this mess because Dita Beard wrote a memo to her boss at ITT stating she could make a deal.
Dita Beard memo is a forgery. I don't know where Anderson got it, but he's a pig and it's a fake.
I doubt that you'll ever prove that to anyone's satisfaction. And even if you do, it won't help Kleindienst's confirmation.
The whole thing doesn't make any sense. I mean, I find it hard to believe that the Republican Party would make a deal with the largest corporation in the world for a paltry $400,000.
Comes back to the memo. Discredit it, the whole thing unravels. We'll expose Anderson and his Democratic friends as liars and hucksters.
Chuck, you're wasting time. Well, Kleindienst takes the heat.
What if the FBI laboratory could prove the Beard memo was a fake?
They haven't even seen the memo.
Not yet. Who would question the findings of the FBI?
Nobody. It's an idea.
Unfortunately, J. Edgar Hoover and myself do not enjoy cordial relations.
Historic understatement.
I nominate the President's counsel as the official most suited to approach the sainted director.
Oh, Mr. Dean.
Mr. Hoover, how are you, sir?
Please, come in.
Thank you.
What can I do for you?
Well, sir, that is Mr. Ehrlichman and others. Thank you, sir. We, have good reason to believe that the so-called Dita Beard memorandum is a phony. And would like your lab to examine it because we feel quite certain that such a test would, in fact, discredit it.
Do you have the document with you?
No, sir, but I could have it sent over if you're willing to look at it.
Of course, I will examine it. We're only too happy to. Send it to Mark Felt, along with samples from the typewriter it was written on.
All right, sir, I'll do that. As you may know, Mr. Kleindienst's confirmation hearings really have nothing to do with him. It's a political attack on the administration. And it all got started with Mr. Jack Anderson's forgery story.
Know exactly what you need. And I am delighted to be of service. Jack Anderson is the lowest form of human being to walk this earth. He's a muckraker who lies, steals. Let me turn to this, Mr. Dean. He is a man that will go lower than dog excrement for a story. I know. My housekeeper puts papers down on the floor every night for my dog. And every morning she takes the papers and she puts them in the trash cans in the back of the house. One day, Jack Anderson and his boys came out to my house to fish around in my trash cans for a story. They fished all the way through the trash, all the way to the bottom, under the excrement. When you're talking about Jack Anderson, you are talking about a man who'll go lower than excrement for his stories. Isn't that something, Mr. Dean?
We wait for weeks for Hoover's response, and this is what we get. I won't accept it. The president won't accept it. You're mistaken.
I'm afraid not, Chuck. I've been tipped.
Well, where does that leave me? I've got Dita herself to admit the memo's a fake. I got 2 experts backing her up. I got Hugh Scott on television announcing our vindication. And Hoover's blowing the whole thing by refusing to say it's a fake?
That's right.
It's time the president retired the old bum.
I don't think that'll happen.
Then maybe Klein needs to have to back off, withdraw his name.
Wait a minute, Chuck. Look, you're confusing the old issue here. The ITT thing is moving to the back pages now, and nobody's paying any attention to the confirmation hearings. In my judgment, Kleindienst ultimately and very quietly will be confirmed. It's that simple.
Well, yes, Senator, we did meet last week. Mike wanted me to inquire if you've been able to make a decision on the fact-finding trip to Geneva next month. Yes, I'll be there. Well, that's wonderful. Mike will be glad to hear it. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hey, Mo, I'll check it then.
All right.
Flight 936 will be delayed approximately 15 minutes.
I want you to enjoy yourself. You remember what we talked about?
Yes.
You think it over.
Okay.
And then we'll decide.
Mo, we need your passport.
I'll be there in a minute, Carol.
Bye-bye.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Attention, Miss Kate.
Colson's friend has the straight goods. No doubt about it. Her name is Xaviera de Vres, also known as Xaviera Hollander. She runs a high-class prostitution ring in New York. I can tell you, there are a lot of politicians mixed up in it, even some guys from the White House.
Is there any hard evidence, Jack?
There are tape recordings of clients having intercourse and so forth.
Tape recordings? For what purpose? Blackmail? Espionage?
No, just plain old pay-for-play sex.
Terrific. Fred, would you draft a memo to Chuck Colson, please? Tell him to relax. There's no danger the opposition will use this stuff against us. I think we can safely assume that Madam,
Xaviera de Vres.
Xaviera de Vres is entertaining Republicans as well as Democrats with equal vigor.
John, what the hell are you doing in San Francisco?
Recuperating. I gave a brilliant speech in Manila, and they rewarded me with pigeon and octopus delicacies.
John, you better come back right now. There's a story in the Washington Post that's going to cause us some problems. 5 men were arrested breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters in the Watergate.
What were they doing then?
Apparently, they were trying to bug Larry O'Brien's office.
Kidding. Who were they?
And I'm sorry, we can't talk on the phone. But take my word for it, this Watergate thing is radioactive.
How are you feeling?
Terrible. It's me. Thanks. What's the big deal?
I'd rather not talk here, Frederick. Now, I want you to try to listen very carefully, John, because the latest Watergate break-in information comes direct from Jack Caulfield.
Did he do it?
No, John, come on. Concentrate. Jack says McCord was arrested there along with 4 Cubans.
You mean our McCord?
Yeah. The security coordinator for the committee to re-elect the president. And he lied, and he told the police his name was Ed Martin.
Dummy.
They found a check on one of the Cubans signed by Howard Hunt. You must see the implications. McCord works for the committee to re-elect the president. Hunt works for the White House. And they're both implicated in busting into the Democratic National Headquarters.
Oh, good morning.
Rob. It's my second Monday.
What?
I crossed the international date line.
Wish I had.
Never mind. These from this morning?
All of them.
Sorry I asked. Yes, Jane?
Jack Caulfield is on 4.
All right, I'll take it. Hello, Jack.
John, I'm worried.
Yeah, I thought you would be. Are you sure they picked up your friend McCord?
Secret Service boys told me. They got it direct from the police.
Do they know who McCord really is yet?
Read your paper. They broke his cover yesterday. I'm the guy that put him over there at the committee, but I had no idea he was mixed up in this business. None at all.
Well, I don't think you have anything to worry about if you're not involved.
I'm not. Believe me, not at all.
I believe you, Jack. You just hang on and don't call anybody. You'll be all right. Jack, I got another call. I'll get back to you. Who is it, Jane?
Jeb Magruder's on 7.
All right, I'll take it. Jeb, what's happening?
We've got a problem.
Yes, I know.
Mitchell told me to get in touch with you and to get your help. Basically, I think this is a public relations problem. Tough one, but I think we can handle it. Did you read the paper yet?
No, I just glanced at it.
It's all that dumb Liddy's fault. He blew it. Stupid jerk. He never should have used McCord. He never told us that he was using McCord. Listen, I think you better talk to Liddy. I can't talk to him because he hates my guts. But I'll talk to you and you can find out what else went wrong and what else we've got to worry about. Okay?
All right, Jeb. I'm sorry, Jeb. I'll have to get back to you. The hotline's buzzing. Hello?
How's the World Traveler?
Oh. Well, John, I wish I hadn't come back.
I presume you're aware of the little incident that transpired the other night?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid I am.
The fact that one of the Cubans had a check made out by Howard Hunt made me think of Chuck Colson. So I called Chuck and inquired about Hunt's health, and he said he hasn't seen him in months. Sounded like he hardly knows the man. Now, I'm not totally satisfied that Mr. Colson is telling all. I want you to have a little chat with him and find out what happened to his friendship with Hunt.
All right, I'll try, but it's not likely he's going to tell me anything he won't tell you.
We'll try. And you might see what your friend Kleindienst is up to, too. Perhaps the Attorney General could determine how all this stuff from the police is leaking to the newspapers.
All right, I'll take care of that. John, I just talked to Jeb Magruder a few minutes ago, and he sounds a little shaky to me. He says that Liddy was running the whole break-in. It's all his fault. He wanted me to talk to Liddy. What do you think? John?
Fine. Call me back. I have to gather up a little report for the president and Haldeman.
Right, John, I understand. Hello?
Hello, John, this is Gordon Strawn.
I'm sorry, Gordon, I can't talk to you right now.
Yeah, I need to come over and see you.
Not now. I have to move some mountains for Ehrlichman. I'll talk to you later.
How about if I drop by after lunch?
Yeah, all right, that'll be fine. I'll see you then.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hello, Chuck.
John, I've been anxious to talk to you.
Listen, I was just talking to John Ehrlichman, and Howard Hunt's name keeps popping up, so I thought I'd talk to you.
I told Ehrlichman I have no idea where Hunt is. I haven't seen him for months. He's off my payroll. Anyway, I can't believe he's involved in the Watergate thing. That's crazy.
What's the story of your relationship to Hunt?
I hired him as a consultant for Ehrlichman.
To do what?
They were out in California. They asked me to get somebody to work on the Pentagon Papers leak, so I sent out Hunt.
Isn't he the fellow you sent out to Denver to extract a deposition from Dita Beard in the hospital?
That's right. But that's the last time I remember seeing Hunt. Look, I'm going to go through my files now, get the facts, and put it all together for you. But I have no idea what Hunt's doing.
All right, Chuck. Get back to me, will you?
Right.
Jane?
Yes, sir.
Could you get the Attorney General for me, please?
Hello, Junior. I can't guess what you're calling about.
Well, needless to say, there's a lot of interest over here in what's going on.
Well, that's no surprise. The investigation is going on as it should.
I'm sure it is. Say, listen, Dick, my people are concerned about all the leaks that are coming out of the investigation. Do you have any idea where they're coming from?
Tell whoever is concerned to stop wasting his time, Junior. It's all coming from the Metropolitan Police, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Well, thanks anyway, Dick. I'll talk to you later. Jane, would you see if you could locate Gordon Liddy for me, please?
Yes, sir.
This is Gordon Liddy, dear. Put me through to Mr. Dean. He's expecting my call. Hello, John. I got your message.
I'd like to meet with you as soon as possible.
I'll be right over. Have me cleared.
Good. Hi. Why don't we go for a walk? Gordon, you can understand how important it is for the White House to know exactly what happened. I talked to Jeb Magruder at the committee, and he doesn't know the whole story.
The whole damn thing was my fault.
No, wait a minute. Let me explain.
It happened because Jeb pushed me. Kept pushing me. I mean, I didn't want to go back in there. Magruder insisted.
Back in?
We tried to break into Watergate twice and failed. Third time, we got in and placed a transmitter and photographed documents, but the transmitter wasn't working well. Probably interference from the steel support girders. Anyway, we went back in there to find out what was wrong. And because Magruder liked the documents we'd gotten, he pressed for more.
Why did you use McCord?
That was a serious mistake. I accept full responsibility for it. It's my fault, nobody else's. But I did it because Magruder cut my budget so much and pressed me so hard. I had to use McCord. There's no time to do anything else. I mean, Jim's a professional. I trust him.
What about Hunt?
Hunt introduced me to the Cubans.
The ones arrested?
He knew them from the Bay of Pigs operation. He recruited them for me.
Now listen. Is there anyone at the White House involved in this? I've got to know, Gordon.
I don't think so.
Good.
The only one who might have known is Gordon Strong.
Not good.
Oh, yeah. Strong works for Haldeman.
Never mind. How do I stay on top?
Well, you need 302s and airtels from the FBI.
Can you translate that?
302s are FBI agents' notes on their field interviews. Airtels are their orders.
Okay.
Listen, John, I'm worried about the men who are arrested. We can't just let them sit in that hellhole of a jail.
I can't do anything about that, Gordon. You can understand why.
Yeah, right. I guess I can understand.
Okay, listen, I'm going to head back to my office now. And, I really don't think we should have another conversation until this whole thing is resolved.
I get that perfectly. I'll walk on the other side of the street, that's best.
Okay.
But before I go, I want you to know one thing. This was my fault. I'm prepared to accept the responsibility for it. Now, if somebody wants to shoot me on a street corner, I'm prepared to have that done. You just let me know where and when, and I'll be there.
Gordon, I really don't think that's going to be necessary.
I'm not going to talk about what's gone on. None of my men will talk. You can be sure of that. We're all soldiers. We know what we're dealing with.
Okay. Good luck, Gordon.
Yes, Jane.
Gordon Strong to see you.
Send him in, please. Hello, Gordon. Good to see you. Sit down.
I'm sorry to just drop in like this.
It's all right.
There's something that I thought you should know.
What's that?
Well, I had a call from Haldeman. So, I destroyed all the political documents in my files.
Like what?
Well, there were the wiretap logs we received, notes I made, instructions from Haldeman telling Liddy to change his operation from Muskie to McGovern.
Uh-huh.
I went through everything. Political memos, talking papers, budget stuff. Everything sensitive. And I shredded them. Bob Holman's files are clean.
Yes, Jane.
Hugh Sloan wants to talk to you.
Put him on hold, would you please? I'm sorry, Gordon. You'll have to excuse me. It's been that kind of day.
You're telling me?
Hey, thanks for coming by. Don't worry. Everything's going to be all right.
Yeah?
I'll talk to you later. Yes, you.
I'm pretty upset, John.
About what?
The truth is, I personally passed some large bundles of cash to Gordon Liddy.
Did you know what the money was for?
No idea.
Well, then I think it's okay.
I'm worried about a Campaign Act violation and that the expenditure was not reported.
That's only minor, Hugh.
In my position as treasurer of the committee to re-elect the
There are more important priorities right now.
Would you know, John, if they can lift fingerprints off of $100 bills?
John, it's me, Mo. I'm back. I'm in New York.
Yeah, I didn't expect you back so soon.
It was marvelous. We had a glorious time. Thank you so much for sending me. I have so much to tell you. I'll be at National at 11.
I can't pick you up, Mo.
Oh, well, that's okay. Well, I'll just take a cab.
No, I mean, I've thought it over, and I don't think you should come back here.
Why?
I've been talking to my wife, and, you know, we're thinking about a reconciliation.
What can I do? Where will I go?
Well, you'll have to make that decision, Mo. You can stay with Carol or go back to L.A., but you have to make that decision.
But, can I come home and just stay just a while till I get things sorted out?
No, I'm afraid it wouldn't work. Not now. I'll be in touch.
Passenger Warner Travers, flight 728. Please pick up the white courtesy telephone. Attention, last call for boarding. All passengers from flight 834 to Seattle Anchorage must be in the boarding area immediately.
Where is Howard Hunt?
I haven't the foggiest notion.
Do you know where Mr. Hunt is?
I'm afraid not, sir.
Well, don't you think Mr. Liddy might talk to Mr. Hunt about getting out of the country? Don't you think that would be a good idea? Why don't you call Liddy and tell him to pass that message to Mr. Hunt?
All right, sir.
Hello. Yes, John. I understand. That'll be passed on immediately.
Public with him, and I simply don't believe the situation calls. Did you get the message to Hunt?
Yes, sir. I talked to Liddy, and he'll pass it on. But I'm having second thoughts.
Already?
Yes, sir. Frankly, I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, Hunt's obviously involved in all that's happened here. I don't know what the details are. None of us do. But the FBI is probably going to want to question him, and there's bound to be problems if we send him away.
You're right.
Okay, it was a bad idea. Why don't you retract the suggestion?
Say that again, John. Retract the order to Hunt. But it's already been passed. Okay. 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 I'll do my best.
Well? I'm afraid Liddy already contacted Hunt, but he's trying to reverse the order.
Okay. Now, Chuck here insists that Hunt is not on his payroll.
You know, my people just looked into that a little while ago, and they say that Hunt's still drawing money from the White House.
He can't be. He hasn't worked for me in months.
I'll resolve this. Colonel, bring me all the employment records for E. Howard Hunt. Now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You know, while we're waiting, I want to tell you something else that we should take care of. And that is apparently Howard Hunt had a safe here in the White House, up in his office.
You mean to tell me that Hunt had an office here in the White House?
We just never shut it down. No one noticed it. It was good space.
And in that good office space, he kept a safe containing the devil knows what?
Yes.
Well, what is Mr. Hunt's status?
I haven't been able to ascertain that clearly, but it's not certain that a date of termination was ever set.
Hunt was off my payroll as of March 31st, 1972.
If Chuck says he was off the payroll, then he was off the payroll.
Yes, sir.
Now, listen, Bruce. We understand there's a safe in Hunt's office. We'd like to get into it. How do we get into it?
There's a procedure for the GSA to open those safes.
Good. John, you should be present when the safe is opened.
And Dean should take possession of the contents.
I have so much to tell you. I've really missed you.
Don't you think Mr. Liddy might talk to Mr. Hunt about getting out of the country? Don't you think that would be a good idea?
What can I do? Where will I go?
Well, sir, are you here on official business, or is this a courtesy call?
I'm sorry it's so late, Carol.
Is that all?
I'm looking for Mo. Is she here?
Yes.
I'd like to talk to her.
I gave her a drink and put her to bed.
Bye.
Do you want to see this person? Call me if you need anything. Like a machete.
awfully sorry I was so brutal on the phone. I was lying about my wife. We're not getting back together. I've been trying to work things out in my head, you know. Things I want, things I do. I can't explain. I thought I knew where I was, how much time I had, where I was going. Figured I could stall here, go forward there, compromise a bit, take an edge. I really thought I was making a big climb.
What are you talking about, John?
Me, I guess.
Well, I don't understand you. Unless you're saying you always thought you could cheat me, take an edge on me, compromise me.
Yeah, that too. It's been unbelievable today. But I had no right to take it out on you. As soon as I was free, I came looking for you. I want us to be engaged.
That's a big step, John.
Don't laugh at me. Even if I'm funny, don't laugh. I want you to come home with me now.
Why? So you can send me away again?
No. Will you please come home with me now?
Yes.
This thing is so stupid, I just can't believe it. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. There is nothing in the Democratic National Committee anyway. Everybody knows that.
I know.
I'll tell you something else. This Liddy person must be crazy. He tracked me down at my golf course. Told me John Mitchell said that I have to get his men out of jail. Can you believe that?
I believe it.
I told him to take a walk. If I ever saw anyone with guilt on his face, it's that Liddy man. If John Mitchell is in any kind of trouble, I'll resign before I prosecute him.
Well, I don't know all the facts yet, but I am concerned.
Junior, are you involved in any of this?
I can assure you, Dick, I'm not. But if this investigation leads to the White House people, the president could be in trouble. There's too much crap going on over there.
Yeah? Yeah, fine. Just give me a minute. Why don't you go see Henry Peterson? He's in charge of the criminal division. Prosecutions are his responsibility.
I've assigned Earl Silbert to Watergate. You know him?
Oh, yes, of course. Henry, let me be up front about this, please. I don't believe the White House can stand a wide-open investigation.
Earl knows he's investigating a break-in. That's the crime we have in front of us. He knows better than to go wandering off into other areas beyond his authority.
I'm very happy to hear you say that.
John, I think you ought to go back to the White House, pass the word to the president that he should move quickly on this thing. Cut his losses cleanly and get it over with.
700, 800, 900, 15,000, 15,000, and 200.
Originally it was 22,000. The rest went for ads.
What kind of ads?
Colson stuff. Supporting the war. The Tell It to Hanoi campaign and the anti-peacenik stuff. Yeah.
All right, what do you want me to do with it?
Well, hold the cash for safekeeping. We could decide later.
All right, fine. $15,200.
Right.
Much later, I discovered the cash came from a fund of $350,000 raised in 1968. It was never reported, never returned, and never spent. It was all under Haldeman's control at the White House.
So the ads they placed were illegal and the money was tainted.
That's right.
Why'd they give it to you?
They trusted me, I guess. I'm the White House lawyer. I showed Fred Fielding the envelope to cover myself. And then he and I went to work on Howard Hunt's safe. Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
All right, take a look at that.
How's that?
Chapstick, supposedly.
Now, among Hunt's personal papers, there are really some incredible documents. There are a lot of memos to Colson about the plumber's unit. There's a complete file on Daniel Ellsberg, plus a psychological study of him. There's this fake telegram implicating President Kennedy in the assassination of DM, plus a memo from Hunt to Colson suggesting how to place that cable in Life magazine. There's also a lot of notes on Senator Kennedy and the Chappaquiddick incident.
I think it would be wise to shred the documents and to deep six the briefcase with the bugging equipment.
What do you mean, deep six?
You drive across the river on your way home at night, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, when you drive across the bridge, just toss the briefcase into the river.
Well, suppose I bring all the material to you and you take care of it, since you also drive over the bridge on your way home at night.
No, thank you.
Hey, John. Hi, Jack.
What are you up to?
I was just on my way over to your shop. How about a walk? Okay.
Remember when you thought you closed down the Liddy operation?
Yeah.
Well, Colson kept pushing me, calling me up, asking me what's going on. So finally I went to Mitchell, and I told him, I said, listen, if we don't take care of this, Colson will. So Mitchell approved the Watergate thing. Approved it because we were afraid that Colson was going to screw everything up. That's why we did it. Can you believe it?
And when Liddy told me that he and Hunt broke into Ellsberg's psychiatrist's office, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, this stuff scares the insides out of me. I didn't know they were doing this junk over at the White House. And there's no telling what else they've done. They could ruin the president. These guys are a disaster.
I know, Bob. You know, Liddy may be crazy, but he seems pretty tight-lipped to me. I don't think he'd ever talk about Watergate or anything else. Yes, please.
I hope you're right. Sure, causes men soldiers. Said they won't talk, even if their fingernails are pulled out. But they also said they expected certain commitments to be honored.
What commitment?
He said it was traditional to take care of captured spies, help out with the family and lawyers and living expenses. He didn't specify more than that. But I don't like it. I mean, in a way, John, they've got us.
John?
You want to go out to dinner?
Just one mistake, remember?
Oh.
Thought maybe we'd have one of our famous twosome dinners.
Okay, fine. Sure.
We'd have a celebration.
Of what?
You, wine, sex. How bad is it?
It's all right, don't worry.
I am worried. Tell me about it. Look, I am not naive about Washington anymore. You can't shock me or disappoint me. I'm your friend.
And sometimes I almost forget how soft your hair is, how really pretty your eyes are.
You know what, Counsel? You are conning me.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry.
John, I think the time has probably come for you to have a conversation with the estimable acting director of the FBI. We're all very interested in what Pat Gray is up to.
You can tell him at the White House I've placed my most trusted people in charge.
All right, then, I'll tell him. You know, we naturally are very interested in any progress.
But there is something new you should know.
Really?
It concerns Bernard Barker, one of the Watergate defendants.
What's that?
Well, our agents have uncovered a number of major banking transactions in his accounts. They've traced a check for $25,000 to a Mr. Kenneth Dahlberg, and 4 checks totaling $89,000 to a bank in Mexico City. Naturally, my agents will follow up those leads.
Naturally.
One of the contributors was a public supporter of Hubert Humphrey, so the contribution would have been embarrassing if it became public. He gave the check to Dahlberg, Dahlberg gave it to Sloan, Sloan gave it to Liddy, and it's fair to say that Liddy gave it to Barker.
Well, those checks were contributed by a group of Texans who used an intermediary in Mexico to make the contribution for reasons which have no bearing on this situation.
I couldn't be certain. I mean, legally certain. But it didn't take much to guess that they had solicited and received illegal contributions from corporations.
And then launder the checks through Mexican banks and certain individuals.
That's right. I had to keep tracking the FBI investigation to keep them focused on the Watergate break-in. It was terribly important that the FBI didn't nose around in this other area. I put Fred Fielding in charge of all the other routine office business because I did not want him involved. I had to handle it myself to contain it. The only scandal was the Watergate break-in, we said.
Mr. Ziegler and also Mr. Mitchell, speaking for the campaign committee, have responded to questions on this in great detail. They have stated my position, and they have also stated the facts accurately. This kind of activity, as Mr. Ziegler has indicated, has no place whatever in the electoral process, and as Mr. Ziegler has stated, the White House has no involvement in this particular incident.
Well, we can't protect anybody if the FBI has the ability to surprise us.
They won't.
John, we're overextended. We have to deal with the civil lawsuit brought against us by the Democrats. We have the problem of the Mexican and Dahlberg checks. And we desperately need to come up with some way of financing the men in jail.
How much do they want?
Lawyers' fees, family support, continuing income while they're in prison. Hell, I don't know what the total might be. Any ideas on where to raise some cash?
No, not really.
Well, John, you reported that Pat Gray said the Watergate could have been a CIA operation.
That's one of his theories, yes.
That's not a bad one. Hunt, Liddy, the Cubans all had CIA backgrounds. They used CIA equipment. Now, if the CIA was involved, then an investigation might compromise the agency in some way.
That's a possibility.
Well, then the CIA might be interested in helping us out. They have the funds for sure, and they have the cover for distributing those funds. What do you think, John?
Maybe. But mind you, I don't know anything about the inner workings of the CIA.
Yes, we appreciate that. But I suggest you explore the notion with Ehrlichman and Haldeman.
Bob, John Mitchell thinks the CIA could be helpful in cutting off the FBI investigation into the Mexican money and all that.
Oh?
Yeah, and I've thought it over, and I don't think it's a bad idea. And that is to limit the FBI because of CIA national security considerations.
Why don't you chew it over with Ehrlichman?
It's a worthwhile idea.
I want you to call the CIA and get into it with them.
Well, I've never dealt with the CIA before, and I don't know Richard Helms.
Don't call Helms. Call General Walters. He's the deputy director.
I'm afraid I don't know him either.
It's no problem. Haldeman and I have already had a little chat with him. Just tell him you're following up on our earlier meeting. If there are any problems, Walters can call us.
Let me ask you this, General Walters. Were any of the people arrested at Watergate working for the CIA?
They were not.
Well, could the CIA be of assistance in providing financial support for these people?
It could be done.
Can we explore that possibility?
Yes. But I know how Director Helms would feel about such a matter. He would only act on a direct order from the President. And in my view, Mr. Dean, that would be most unwise. It would make the problem still more difficult, because it would directly and personally involve the President. I'm sure you agree.
Walters seems to have forgotten how he got where he's at today. I want you to push him further.
Sir, we can't have the President ask the CIA to pay off those bastards.
The CIA can help without the President. They can scare off the FBI. You just hang in there.
Something else?
Yes, sir. I want to discuss the contents of Howard Hunt's safe.
I thought you took care of that.
No, sir. There are at least half a dozen other people that saw the safe and the boxes. I can't just destroy that evidence.
Where is it?
It's in the trunk of my car. Now, what if the FBI were to question those people? Do we expect wholesale perjury?
What's your brilliant alternative?
I recommend that we officially and immediately turn everything from that safe over to the FBI, except the sensitive documents, which we should give directly to Pat Gray.
What does that accomplish?
It puts us squarely within the law. I can say under oath that to the best of my knowledge, I've turned everything from the safe over to the FBI, and you can vouch for me.
Well, what does Pat Gray do with the fake Kennedy cable and the rest of that crap?
He assumes responsibility. Today, I turned all the material from Howard Hunt's safe over to your FBI people, except these. If they should leak, it would be political dynamite, particularly in an election year.
Yes, the documents are extremely sensitive. But we can assure you, Pat, that they are not related to Watergate. For the good of the country, the contents of these envelopes must never be known. Not ever.
Very embarrassed. So are you.
Aren't you?
No, I'm an actor. Now, were you being looked at like, up?
Not my idea. I don't approve of sex advertising.
Tell you something very sad, pal. You don't even fight anymore.
What?
Never mind.
We need your advice. We want your thinking on whether or not Mitchell and Magruder should be removed from the re-election committee.
It's a tough question.
We need a tough answer.
Well, it would be presumptuous of me to pass judgment on John Mitchell. I mean, you know, he's got a lot of problems right now. I just don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about him.
What about Magruder?
That's another story entirely. In fact, Jeb Magruder is in it up to his teeth. Liddy went into the Watergate on Jeb's instructions. We know that for sure.
Suppose Magruder took the responsibility. Could he stand the heat?
In my opinion, if Magruder sees himself going down, he's liable to take Mitchell down with him. And maybe a lot of other people, too.
You're saying that the problem cannot be confined to Magruder.
That's right.
Which brings us back to Mitchell.
Well, you know, sorting out what's happened, what it means, how to handle it is consuming everybody over there, including John Mitchell. You can't be spending too much time on re-election committee business.
That's obvious. Things are sliding over there.
That's right. Now, you know, I don't know for certain whether or not Mitchell approved the Watergate break-in, but I have every reason to suspect that he did. Jeb couldn't have gone in there without Mitchell's general authority. I think if the facts were known, that both Magruder and Mitchell could be indicted.
Thank you, Counselor.
Mitchell resigned the next day on the basis of what he called personal reasons. Magruder stayed on.
He turned the knife in Mitchell.
I'm an attorney, Charlie. I had an obligation to report the truth to Haldeman and Ehrlichman. It was my duty.
And to hell with Mitchell.
I like John Mitchell better than any man in government. He'd done more for me. I felt more for him. I still do. But I couldn't protect him. I was up to my teeth in the cover-up myself. I'd become the desk man, the idea man, the gear running between the White House and the committee to re-elect, the FBI and the CIA. I was containing a series of scandals that could bring down the whole administration. I couldn't pretend anymore. I was merely an attorney protecting my client's interest. I was my own client, and I was criminally involved. It was the money. Damn money they needed to pay the Watergate burglars to shut up and take the rap. Nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody.
Mitchell will have to raise the money to make the payments. He approved the Liddy plan. Liddy and McCord worked for him. You just hike over and tell your old friend that it's his obligation.
You're certain the CIA won't help?
No, sir. Not without involving the president.
What about Stans? He only has 70 or 80,000 available. It's not nearly enough.
Or might I suggest that we approach...
And it has to come from someplace else. The White House, especially Ehrlichman, should be anxious to help the men in prison. In view of the work they did for him in the past. I think, John, you should get White House approval to use Herb Kalmbach to raise the money. After all, Herb may be the best fundraiser in the country.
I've said it openly. I told the president 2 months ago that I simply don't want to do any further fundraising. I've had it, John, up to here.
We all have, Herb. We all wish it would just go away, but it doesn't.
I don't know anything about the Watergate mess.
And it's my obligation to tell you.
I don't think I want to hear it. All right. Let's go up to my room.
There is no one else we can go to. You're the best fundraiser in the party. You're the president's attorney. You're also his personal friend.
What would I have to do?
Mitchell says you to contact Fred LaRue. He'll tell you how much they need and when to make the payments.
And what's the alternative?
There's none.
You tell him that the only reason I'm undertaking this is because I trust and respect the people who've asked me.
Pat, it's terribly important that we should get some idea of the areas of investigation that your FBI people are pursuing.
I've been candid with you.
Yeah, I know, but, you see, Pat, I'm particularly interested in the 302s and the Airtels.
I'll have to check.
All right.
I need an assurance from you that this information is being reported to the president.
Well, yes, of course. I can assure you of that.
And that this is the principal purpose of the request.
Yes, exactly.
Well, the president is the nation's chief law enforcement officer, and he's entitled to reports of criminal investigations.
You're up.
Yes.
What time is it, huh? a drink?
I'm going home, John.
Say what?
I called my mother. She's scouting an apartment for me. I'm going back to Los Angeles.
Oh, stop it, Mo. I don't give a damn what you say. I can't take you to the convention. I've got too much to do there.
You idiot. I don't give a damn about the convention or Watergate or any of it. You work all hours. You come home and you drink. When you go to bed, you never close your eyes. But you don't see me, John. You don't see me.
I'm sorry, love.
You're not asking me to stay, are you?
No, I can't argue. You're right. I'm no good to you, love, but I swear to you, I love you.
Thanks for coming on such short notice.
My pleasure. I've been anxious to hear from you. Everybody's been anxious.
They can relax. I'm on my way to meet Tony Ulasewicz. I just wanted you to know that the job is done. I've raised the money.
That's wonderful, Herb.
You tell Haldeman and Ehrlichman.
I will, for sure.
I've got it in cash. Right here.
Herb sat there with that briefcase stuffed with money he'd raised at my request to pay off criminals. The heavens didn't open up. Trumpets didn't blare. I was breaking the law, and I knew it, and I didn't feel a damn thing. I had moved into the inner circle of the President of the United States. I was going to grab all the power I could. I was going to possess any woman I wanted. I was climbing to the top of Macho Mountain, and I was 33 years old. Oh, hi, Laurie. How you doing? Yeah. Listen, hon, I know I invited you over to see the new house tonight, but I'll tell you the truth, I'm really bummed out. I was wondering maybe you'd take a rain check. Yeah. Hey, thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate that. I will, for sure. All right, bye-bye.
convictions wrong, because we can set as our goal winning the majority of the new voters for our ticket this November. And I pledge to you, all of the new voters in America who are listening on television and listening here in this convention hall, that I will do everything that I can over this next 4 years to make your support be one that you can be proud of. Because, as I said to you last night, and I feel it very deeply in my heart, years from now, I want you to be able to look back and say that your first vote was one of the best votes that you ever cast in your lives.
President, wouldn't it be a good idea for a special prosecutor to be appointed to investigate the contribution situation and the Watergate case?
I think it'd be well to notice that the FBI is conducting a full field investigation. The Department of Justice, of course, is in charge of the prosecution and presenting the matter to the grand jury. The Senate Banking and Currency Committee is conducting an investigation. In addition to that, our own staff, under my direction, counsel to the President, Mr. Dean, has conducted a complete investigation of all leads which might involve any present members of the White House staff or anybody in government. I can say categorically that his investigation indicates that no one in the White House staff and no one in this administration presently employed was involved in this very bizarre incident. What really hurts in matters of this sort is not the fact that they occur, because overzealous people in campaigns do things that are wrong. What really hurts is if you try to cover it up. What really hurts is if you try to cover it up.
Hi, Jay.
Hi. Nice to have you back.
Good to be back. What do you got?
Ziegler wants to see you right away.
All right. Fred in?
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
Hey, hi. Welcome back.
Thank you. Can I see you a minute?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Fred.
Okay, shoot.
Do you think I'm being set up to take the heat on this Watergate thing?
What do you mean?
Well, you heard the president tell the whole country I conducted a complete investigation.
Mm-hmm. Any harm in that?
If something goes wrong, I'm the guy the president says reported to the president.
Oh, see. Well, could be a PR move. It's perfectly natural for the president to use his counsel as his legal authority. You know, it's the same gambit he used when they questioned him about the Supreme Court's death penalty decision.
Yeah, but that wasn't true either.
I have no idea where they got that information. I told them now. No verification of that at all. Look, tell them if I have any information, they will be the first to know. I will post it, yes. Right.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Press Secretary?
You bet. A drink?
It's against the law to drink in a federal building.
I'll give a date.
Neither do I, Ron.
Look, I am getting a lot of heat out there from the press about your Watergate investigation for the president. I want to read your report.
I didn't write any report, Ron.
Can I say it was an oral report?
There is no such report. I haven't even talked to the president. I just found out about it myself.
Well, can I say there's a report in progress? Are you still working on it?
There is no such report. There never was any report, ever.
The Justice Department announced today indictments against the alleged Watergate burglars, against former White House aides Howard Hunt and Gordon Liddy, and against the former security chief of the committee to re-elect the president, James McCord.
The investigation was one of the most intense, objective, and thorough in all my years, reaching out to cities all across the United States as well as into foreign countries.
I call upon those who have recklessly sought to connect others with the case to apologize
Yeah, that's right.
publicly for their unfounded charges.
Well, I'll
say this
House
much, it's been
Minority
some
Leader
kind of
Gerald
day.
Ford said that the indictments reinforce his
Yeah, right.
understanding that none
Thanks
of the
for
people
calling.
in the
I'll talk
White
to you later.
House in positions of leadership.
John, the president wants to see you in the Oval Office right away.
Time for the president's counsel to get his strokes. Thank you.
Kennedy put his stocks up, tried for the trust to put, you know, what it was worth.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, sir.
Well, you had quite a day today, didn't you? You got Watergate all the way, huh?
Quite a 3 months.
How did it all end up?
I think we can say well at this point. The press is playing it just as we expect.
Whitewash?
No, not yet. Story right now is that...
It's a big story.
Yeah.
5 indicted.
Plus,
They're
plus
building
2
up
White
the
House
fact that
aides.
one of the plus one of the White House former guys and all that.
Yeah.
That's good. That takes the edge off whitewash, really. Which that was the thing that Mitchell kept saying. That,
Yeah.
That to those in the country, Liddy and Hunt are big men.
That's right.
Yeah, they're White House aides.
The resources that have been put against this whole investigation to date are really incredible. It's truly a larger investigation than was conducted against the after inquiry of the JFK assassination.
Oh?
And good statistics supporting that. Kleindienst is going to have a
Isn't that
report.
ridiculous, though?
What is?
This silly-ass damn thing.
Yeah.
That kind of resource.
Yeah, for God's sake.
Who the hell cares?
Goldwater put it in context. He said, well, for God's sake, everybody bugs everybody else. We know that.
That was priceless.
Yeah, I
But
bugged.
it's true. It happens to be totally true. We were bugged in '68 on the plane and bugged in '62 even running for governor. Damnest thing you ever saw.
It's a shame that evidence that the fact that happened in '68 was never preserved around. I understand that only the former director had that information.
No, that's not true.
There was direct evidence of it?
Yeah. The difficulty with using it, of course, is that it reflects on Johnson.
Right.
He ordered it. If it weren't for that, I'd use it. Is there any way we can use it without reflecting on Johnson? Now, could we say that the Democratic National Committee did it? No. The FBI did the bugging, though.
That's the problem.
Is it going to reflect on Johnson or Humphrey?
Johnson. Humphrey didn't do it.
Humphrey didn't do it?
Oh, hell no.
He was bugging Humphrey, too.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, anyway, get a good night's sleep, and don't bug anybody without asking me. Thank you.
3 months ago, I would have had trouble predicting where we'd be today. I think that I can say that 54 days from now, not a thing will come crashing down to our surprise.
What?
Nothing is going to come crashing down to our surprise, either.
Well, the whole thing is a can of worms. As you know, a lot of this stuff went on, and the people who worked, awfully embarrassing. But the way you've handled it seems to me has been very skillful. Because you putting your fingers in the dikes every time that leaks have sprung here, sprung there, having people straighten out.
Because the way I see it now, the only problems that we have are the human problems, and we'll keep a close eye on that.
Union?
Human.
Oh. People. Human frailties where people fall apart.
Human frailties, people getting annoyed, and some finger pointing and false accusations, and any internal dissension of that nature.
You mean on this case?
On this case. There is some bitterness between, for example, the Finance Committee and the Political Committee. They feel that they're taking all the heat and all the people upstairs are bad people and they're not being recognized.
Ridiculous.
Well,
all
it
that
is.
Together.
That's right.
Just behave and recognize this. This is war. We're getting a few shots. It'll be over. Don't worry. I wouldn't want to be on the other side right now. Would you? I wouldn't want to be in Edward Bennett Williams' position after this election.
No, no.
Now, these bastards.
He's done some rather unethical things that have come to light already, which, and again, Richie has brought to our attention.
Yeah.
He went down to the...
Keep a log on all that.
Oh, we are on these, yeah.
Yeah.
Because afterwards, that is a guy.
We're going after him.
That is a guy we got to ruin.
He had an ex parte.
You want to remember, too, he's an attorney for the Washington Post.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
I think we're going to fix the son of a bitch. Believe me, we're going to. We've got to, because he's a bad man.
Absolutely.
He misbehaved very badly in the Hoffa matter, and it's a pretty bad conduct there, too, but go ahead.
Well, along that same line, one of the things I've tried to do is just keep notes on a lot of the people who are emerging as less than our friends.
Right.
Because this is going to be over someday, and we shouldn't forget the way some of them treated us.
I want the most comprehensive notes on all of those who tried to do us in, because they didn't have to do it.
That's right.
They didn't have to do it. I mean, if this thing had been they'd had a close selection, everybody on the other side would understand this game. But now, they're doing this quite deliberately, and they're asking for it, and they're going to get it. We have not used the power in the first 4 years, as you know.
That's right.
We have never used it. We haven't used the Bureau, and we haven't used the Justice Department, but things are going to change now. They're going to change, and they're going to get it right.
That's an exciting prospect.
And remember, basically, the damn thing is just one of those unfortunate things, and we're trying to cut our losses.
Well, certainly that's right, and certainly it has no effect on you. That's the good thing.
It really hasn't.
Huh?
No, it hasn't. It has been kept away from the White House almost completely and from the president totally. The only tie to the White House has been the Colson effort they keep trying to haul in.
And now, of course,
that's falling apart.
Damn it, if they'd been communists, you'd have the Washington Post and New York Times raising hell about their civil rights.
That's right.
By our Manson.
That's right.
If they'd been killers.
That's right.
Isn't that true?
It's absolutely true.
I have delivered $220,000 in cash, mostly to Howard Hunt. This is a detailed accounting. Yeah. Fred, I think you should take it.
I don't think we need any accounting.
I know I don't.
Just wanted to clear the decks.
I have no use for it.
Let's destroy it, then. Anybody got a match?
Yeah.
Thanks. I have to do this. I've had it. Mitchell and Ehrlichman understand. I hope the two of you do. My assignment is officially ended. It's up to you now, Fred. Goodbye, John.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Now, about the Patman congressional hearings into Watergate. Can we stop the congressman? Can we cut off his subpoena power?
Well, it's a close question if we have the votes, Bob, but we really need to turn those hearings off.
Keep on Jerry Ford's butt. He knows he's got to produce on this one.
Okay.
Call John Conley.
Conley?
Yep. He may know some way to stop Patman.
is this?
Me, John.
John?
I got this new house that needs decorating. I love you and I miss you. I want you to come back here and marry me.
What? What was that, John?
I just asked you to marry me.
I'll think about it.
Hey, did you hear me?
Good night, John.
Oh?
So the other reporter says, do you mean to tell me that your office had nothing to do with killing the Patman Committee hearings?
What'd you tell him?
I said, off the record. He said, sure. And I said, nothing whatsoever.
Maureen's calling, long distance.
Oh,
Great. You can take it right there.
Hello?
Hello, John.
I've thought about it. The answer's yes.
What? You say that again for the record.
I said yes, yes, yes.
Memorandum for H.R. Haldeman's from John Dean. Subject, missing in action. There comes a time in a bachelor's life when he inevitably gives serious thought to the institution of marriage. For this bachelor, the process commenced several months ago when I became engaged to a beautiful California girl. Well, after having reviewed and re-reviewed innumerable mental option papers with all the care and caution that my legal training and Libra instincts could muster, I have concluded that this bachelor is ready, able, and extremely anxious to marry his lovely California girl. Having made this decision and having had my decision-making, implementation, and follow-up procedures stropped and honed by the Haldeman management team, I plan to marry Maureen on October 13, subject only to technical problems of arrangements for the ceremony, and would like to take a few days out of the city by way of a quick honeymoon. While I cannot fully predict what might break with regard to my office activities, the 13th through 18th appears to be good. Thus, when Higby makes his daily morning call to determine if I have survived the preceding night and discovers my absence, I want you to know that I am, quote, missing in action, unquote, and not a POW, i.e., prisoner of woman. I hope the foregoing meets with your approval.
Further details will be reported on the 6 o'clock news. In a copyrighted story, the Washington Post charges that the Watergate break-in was part of a massive campaign of sabotage directed by White House and re-election committee officials, financed by a secret fund controlled by John Mitchell. An attorney, Donald Segretti, was named as the chief nationwide recruiter for the sabotage operation.
Political sabotage.
Yes, dirty tricks.
And you knew about them?
Only after the fact.
You participated?
Not operationally, no.
How?
Legally.
Specifically?
I briefed Donald Segretti before he was interviewed by the FBI. Then I briefed him again before he was questioned by the grand jury. Then afterwards, I told him to get on a train cross-country and to stay out of sight until after the election, to see America first.
Screwdriver, will you please?
Okay, just a second.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You know, John, I can't wait until after the election. I can't wait until the president stands up and says, now here's what Watergate was all about. Nothing like the press and politicians are trying to make it into. That is what I'm waiting for.
You know, honey, it's very important that certain aspects, certain things be kept secret until after the election. And if I manage to help them do that, why, there could be something very good for us in the second term. Maybe even an ambassadorship.
That would be fantastic.
You like that?
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, could you help me measure this?
Sure.
From the middle of the door there.
But then, things could go the other way, and our future might not be so bright after all.
The future will be beautiful. I will be a radiant bride in a beautiful dress you bought me. And then down to Key Biscayne for 3 weeks.
Well, maybe only 2, huh?
3. Then we're gonna come home and finish decorating and furnishing and building the patio. I love you.
I love you.
I'm so proud of you.
How much did you take? $4,850. Part of that secret White House fund, the old campaign contributions, right?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't that I couldn't have used my own money, you know, but I'd become careless and hadn't called my broker in a while and didn't check my bank account. And I needed the money for the honeymoon and the wedding.
And it was easy to use the secret fund. You dipped into the cookie jar.
Yes.
Idiot.
Yes. Later, of course, I wrote out my own personal check for the full amount and put it in the envelope.
Where's the envelope now?
It's still in the safe in my office.
Well, get it out of there. Make it public. Put it in a bank. And keep copies of those notes. Photostat them.
And you? And do you, John Wesley Dean III, take this woman to be your hopeful wife?
I do.
Are you a man and wife? What have you accepted that any objection to the ceremonies? Speak now. For a moment,
Good luck.
Good luck. Chapin has to stonewall it, Bob. Well, he simply has to deny any connection with Segretti. Sure, there are problems, but the press will never find Segretti. Don't worry, he's safe. Yeah, believe me, he is. No, I don't agree. Oh, Bob, for heaven's sakes, not today. I can't come back today.
John. Oh, no, you don't, John. Not today.
John?
Hi, Barbara.
Hi. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Listen, I've got to talk to you.
Oh.
While you were away, Howard Hunt's wife has been calling me every night at home.
Dorothy's been calling you at home?
Yes. I keep telling her that I'm only Mr. Colson's secretary, but she says that she wants Chuck to know that he better start talking to her.
Oh, you mean Chuck's not returning your call?
Right. He asked me to take it up with you.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I know what to do. Just don't talk to her.
Well, she's very insistent.
Well, hang up on her.
She calls me back.
Get an unlisted number.
What should I tell Chuck?
That depends on what he asks.
The story is based entirely on hearsay and is fundamentally inaccurate.
That's good. Next question.
But did Dwight Chapin, the president's appointment secretary, a man who meets with the president regularly, hire Donald Segretti and instruct...
Segretti, man.
Oh, sorry. Did Mr. Chapin hire Donald Segretti and instruct him to engage in sabotage?
I have nothing to add to what Mr. Chapin's already said on that.
No good, Ron.
I am not going to try to cope with these unfounded stories.
I am not going to dignify desperation politics.
All right, that's better. Next question.
Is it true that Segretti was a close personal friend of Chapin's?
Mr. Chapin's already covered that in his statement.
When was the last time that Chapin saw Segretti?
I don't know.
Why don't you ask him?
Why don't I ask him?
It's a good question.
We do not take as seriously as some of you reporters these campaign pranks. Some of you, for your own purposes, have blown them into something that is not there.
I don't think we can take on the press. Mr. Chapin has made a comment on that. I don't have anything to add to it. Next question.
Is the president concerned about the report?
I would say his concern goes to the fact that stories are being run based on innuendo, hearsay, and guilt by association.
Why don't you deny the charges, sir?
I'm not going to dignify these types of stories with a comment.
I bet I'm the only bride in history who's taking her second honeymoon 5 days after her first.
With the same guy, too.
Is all that Segretti business okay now?
Yeah, I think so.
Such a silly name.
What is?
Segretti.
Really?
Sounds like a brand of canned pasta or something.
I never thought of it like that. You know what Segretti means in Italian, don't you?
Mm-mm.
Secret.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Listen to this.
The buttons determine which room the security men will let you enter. Plastic buttons get you into the hotel. Maybe. Brass buttons get you into the large ballroom. Bronze are for VIP parties, divided into one for lower-ranking White House aides and freshman congressmen, and another for a few senators and perhaps a governor. Nickel buttons are for the officials of the Republican National Committee. Silver. Then you get to celebrate with major contributors and cabinet members. Gold. Gold buttons, you get to be with Haldeman, Ehrlichman, and Bibi Rebozo. And after all that, I forgot my buttons. You think they'll let us in?
We'll find out.
With over 80% of the precincts already reported, Nixon Agnew have won an overwhelming victory over McGovern in a landslide. Festivities planned for Republicans throughout the capital and in Georgetown.
The White House with all
And the moment the president is seen by this enormous crowd, you'll experience it together as these excited, triumphant politicians, friends, and just plain citizens pay tribute to the president and the vice president-elect.
Champagne for the lead. Kiss for the wife.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
John, take me home.
Why? What's wrong?
I don't feel it.
I thank each and every one of you from the bottom of our hearts. I was reading Disraeli the other night, and Disraeli spoke of how his administration of the British government lost its spark after being reelected. They became a burnt-out volcano, fresh out of ideas and energy. Well, I thought about that, and I pledged to myself that no such thing will happen to this second administration. I am not a burned-out volcano, and this second administration will not become one either. We are going to inject new vigor and new energy into the government. We have no choice but to do that. Our opportunity is too great. We can build a generation of peace with prosperity in America, and we're going to get on with the job. Now, Bob will talk to you about some specifics.
Now, the President and I are meeting with the Cabinet shortly. We are going to ask them to submit written letters of resignation. The President has also directed that everyone in this room, the entire staff, hand in letters of resignation. This doesn't mean that you won't be asked to stay on, of course. We will review each situation individually. We just want to show we mean business.
Damn it, I don't understand. Has the president gone crazy? I mean, you just can't throw everyone out in the street like this, waste everyone's career. I tell you, John, he'll regret this.
Well, you got nothing to worry about, Henry, I assure you. I don't know about anyone else, but I know I'm staying on, so are you.
Well, that's good to hear.
That's right.
Thank you, John.
I got a plane to catch, Henry. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Goodbye.
Does the head of the Criminal Justice Division feel better?
Much better.
I take it you cleared that call with Haldeman.
Oh, of course.
Oh, just checking.
You know, Fred, this reorganization business is a great opportunity for us, and we've earned it. While I'm away, I want you to make a list of new functions for this office.
I'll have it for you as soon as you get back from Palm Springs.
Good deal.
When do you think that'll be?
As soon as I finish dealing with the elusive Mr. Segretti.
How long has that poor guy been on the road?
Long enough, I guess.
Listen, I'll have my wife keep in touch with Mo.
No need. I'm taking her with me. She knows the territory.
Oh! This trip, officially speaking, is a Dean vacation.
Come on, Fred.
Which has nothing to do with Donald Segretti.
Shut up, Fred. When's the last time you had a bath?
I've been dodging camels. Boy, it's good to see somebody from the outside world, though.
I'm sorry it's been so rough on you. You got a bag here?
Yeah, one or two things.
Where'd you get this car?
Oh, I rented it.
I'm glad you didn't buy it.
How's Mo doing?
Good. Come on inside.
Good. Okay. I didn't mind a train trip across the country. Actually, it was kind of fun.
It's the only way to fly, though.
When I got here, to the desert, that was murder. I was worried about reporters tagging me in town, so I only came in once or so a week, pick up some canned food. Rest of the time, I slept out in a sleeping bag.
Right on the open?
Mm-hmm. Roasted by day, frozen by night, and the dew. You know that I would wake up soaked with water in the middle of the damn desert? So we had all these black African diplomats show up at the Muskie reception completely uninvited.
Is that it, then?
Anything else you want to know?
I guess not.
Hey, I thought I should check up on you two.
Oh, we're fine, thanks, Mom.
Have some more lemonade and sandwiches when you're ready.
Great, we're ready.
Yeah? Okay.
I'll give you a hand.
Me too.
No, sit still, kid. I do my best work in the kitchen.
Oh, you do now. Stop it. That's Donald Segretti? dirty tricks already.
That's him.
I thought he looked more like Ernest Borgnine in The Godfather.
Do we have some mustard?
Yeah, in the fridge. He looks like everybody's kid brother.
Where are the chips?
Down there.
Okay.
Right there, yeah. Why do you guys need that tape recorder?
It's important for Haldeman and Ehrlichman to know everything he did. We have to fly that tape down and keep us game right away.
Before we go home? Why?
Possible legal problem.
You guys see possible legal problems in everything.
That's how we lawyers make our living.
He is a lawyer. You're kidding. It's a baby.
That's what you said about me once.
What did he do? What exactly did Donald do?
Donald Segretti disrupted, embarrassed, and sabotaged Democratic candidates and campaigns in at least 11 states.
How'd he do that?
Well, what I'm going to tell you may sound like college boy pranks, but I can assure you they were very effective. Against Muskie, he dropped mice at a Muskie press conference. He hired a girl to run nude outside Muskie's hotel shouting, "I love Ed Muskie." He used stink bombs against Muskie headquarters and at Muskie picnics. He distributed signs in an anti-busing district in Florida that read, "Support Ed Muskie in busing more children now." He distributed a letter on stolen Muskie stationery accusing Senator Jackson of fathering an illegitimate child and of homosexual convictions. He also alleged that Senator Hubert Humphrey was arrested for drunk driving with a call girl.
Well, let's see. Stink bombs, call girls, homosexuals.
Could have been a lot worse. In fact, it's not nearly as bad as I imagined. As far as I'm concerned, we could air that thing on CBS tonight and get it over with. Most people think a lot worse things than that went on. Yeah, come in.
Excuse me, Bob. The president wants to see you.
Yes, please tell him I'll be delayed for a bit. I want to finish with John here.
Sure. Excuse me.
John, the president has decided that Dwight Chapin has to go.
I'm too close to Dwight to make an objective judgment.
Mo? Out here.
Hi. You're doing some shopping, huh?
Yep.
Well, I got some good news and some bad news.
What?
We have to fly back to Washington tomorrow.
Oh, is that the good news or the bad news?
That's the bad news. The good news is we're going on Air Force One with the President and Mrs. Nixon.
You're kidding!
Hey, you like that?
Oh, God, I love it. I love it. Wait until I write my mother. Hey, Mom, guess who your daughter flew back with from Florida?
Richard Milhouse Nixon.
Oh, John Wesley Dean III. He's a very important fellow.
Hello, be seated. Well, I'm sorry I cut your honeymoon short again.
It's all right, Mr. President.
It's a good cause, Mr. President.
Are you sure you're glad you married this guy? We're going to keep him very busy.
Oh, I hope not too busy.
You may wish you hadn't.
I'm not worried.
Well, good to see you both. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Have a good trip, everybody. See ya.
John, come in. Sit down.
What's up?
I had a conversation today with Howard Hunt.
You talked with Hunt?
I figured that I had to now that the election's over.
Well, Chuck, I hope you didn't promise him a job.
The important thing is that he told me I had nothing to do with Watergate. I'm in the clear.
You recorded it?
I had to tape the conversation for my own protection. I'll type it up and send it down to you, but you can hear for yourself.
Well, the reason I called you is because commitments that were made to all of us at the onset have not been kept. And there's a great deal of unease and concern on the part of the 7 defendants, and, well, I'm quite sure
Me least of all. But there's a great deal of financial expense that has not been covered, and what we've been getting has been coming in very minor dribs and drabs. Now, we've set a deadline for close of business on the 25th of November, with a resolution on the liquidation of everything that's outstanding. Of course, we can understand some hesitancy prior to the election, but well, there doesn't seem to be any of that now. This is a long haul. The stakes are very high. I thought that you would want to know that this thing must not break apart for foolish reasons.
Colson thinks it exonerates him. I can't hear anything but Hunt's extortion demands. Is there anything you want me to tell Bob or John?
No, I don't think so. Thanks for coming up to New York. I'll give you a call later.
Okay. Can I give you a lift, Mr. Mitchell? I've got a car down front.
Oh, no, thanks, sir. Our place is just a few blocks from here. The walk will do me good.
Good night.
I have the details of Mr. Hunt's demands.
Salary, family upkeep, lawyers' fees, incidentals. First payment is due by Thanksgiving.
1 week. $250,000?
Well, that's the total.
I think I'm going to switch sides. Any of you guys got a break-in I can do?
I can't raise this kind of money. We can't meet these demands. It's just that simple.
What would happen if we refused to pay it, or if we cut this figure in half? Would the whole structure collapse?
We could stall for a while, but not for long.
How much did Kalmbach raise for them? Another $250,000?
We've got to find someone who can give Fred some cash.
We don't have the resources. Tell the White House that none of us can do it. Not Mitchell, not the committee to re-elect, not us. It's up to the White House.
They say it's up to you. Well, Mitchell thinks we should dip in $350,000.
I don't want to go any further into Mitchell's problem.
Should I tell him that?
Yep.
Okay.
I want you to tell Haldeman I need a loan. Now, they got to pull an oar in this thing. They got their $350,000 just sitting there. I'm talking about a loan. You hear me, John? A loan. Right away.
We're all afraid Hunt might blow. I mean, things are really getting hot, Bob. I just don't have any better suggestions.
Well, if there's no choice, then go ahead and do it. Just make sure that you get that money back, and fast. Make it clear it's a loan.
Now, should I tell Strawn and tell him that you authorized passing the money to Fred LaRue?
Yep.
Hey, did you get that, honey?
Okay. Hello? Say that again, please. I understand. Yes, thank you.
What's happened?
It's unbelievable.
What?
Howard Hunt's wife, Dorothy, was killed.
Oh, my God. How?
She was on that plane that crashed outside Chicago yesterday.
Howard and Dorothy and the kids. They're friends of mine.
Known him for years. And I ducked your calls to protect myself, and now she's dead. God. It's incredible. Poor Howard.
I'm really sorry, Chuck.
I hear that Hunt's in terrible shape. This is John. I wanted to ask you. Can I go to Dorothy's funeral? I mean, does that implicate me?
The latest is they found $14,000 in Dorothy's purse in the wreckage. Is it our money? Can it be traced?
No, sir. Payments were made in untraceable bills.
What about prints? There aren't any prints. How you know, Fred? I wore gloves.
The president wants you to write the sort of report that'll put this whole thing to rest by saying, simply, the White House wasn't involved.
If I do that, I'll tell you what's going to happen.
Go ahead.
Magruder's going to be indicted, Mitchell's going to be indicted, Ehrlichman's going to be indicted, Haldeman's going to be indicted, and Dean's going to be indicted.
I can understand Mitchell and Magruder, but I don't see the others.
Everybody would have to trust everyone else to commit perjury regarding the money payments. If just one person cracks and starts looking for a deal, we are all in an obstruction of justice situation.
And I guess such a report isn't a viable option.
That's right. Happy New Year, Mom.
Happy New Year. It's gonna be a good year. We'll see.
Think?
Yeah.
Next, on Blind Ambition.
All you've done is what the president and his people told you to do.
The underlying irony is that 10 out of the 15 people I've named are lawyers.
I wonder if someone might be slipping something putrid into your diet.
I don't want to hear your lies anymore. I know what you've been doing. You've been fooling around.
When it comes to talking to the prosecutors, just remember, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, it's gonna be very tough to get back in.
John, my boy, you're guilty as hell.
I may have to go to jail.
No, that's impossible.